It's time to keep it real in real estate. Jay Lee is here. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Great to see you.
You too.
All right, so here's what's going on in the market. Prices are up, right?
Yeah.
Some buyers have gotten fatigued,
Tired.
have exited the whole thing. Sellers have started pricing their houses a little bit more up there, you know, not creating the bidding wars like we were, you know, a few months back where they were kind of pricing them a little more aggressively.
Right.
So how do you navigate this thing? I mean, from your opinion, if you're a buyer who's gotten sick of it, you know, how do you find the courage to stay in it?
Well, one of the ways that we coach our clients on, basically anyone who's in the market right now is a very serious buyer.
Yeah.
Right. They're not going to be the buyer that's going to come in and out of the market. They're looking to make sure that they win that home. One of the things we look at is time on market as well as area, and looking at the different comps of homes that have sold in that same pocket. The biggest thing that I've seen lately is people trying to price homes in a pocket that's not as valuable as the pocket next door, and they're overpricing because of that, and they're wondering why hasn't my house sold? These houses right over here sold at, you know, 800,000, and this one I've got no showings. Where I was talking to a guy about that at your event, actually.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I was like, yeah, dude, that's a bad, like, I wouldn't live there.
Yeah.
Like, why would you charge $800,000 for that house? What are you thinking? But no, it really does have to do with, you know, overzealous sellers, right? They should have sold 6 months ago. 6 months ago. I started seeing a shift 3 to 4 months ago, right? And people weren't seeing it yet. Most of the market data, so as you know, we've done our market stat shows before. If y'all haven't seen them, go back and look, and you'll find ones we do. We should probably do another one.
We should. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. So, but basically, we pull data month over month, year over year to show the last trend of what's going on in real estate, and I see the shifts before 99% of the people see them, because I have the data to back it up. And if you're not pricing ahead of the market, you're going to fall behind the market. So when we're listing a home, we always have to look at, okay, not what are homes selling right now, what are they going to sell at when this goes live, right? So if I go to a listing appointment and the guy's like, well, I don't want to sell till October, right? Okay, what's the market doing? Well, in October, I can't really give you a price because it's too far out.
Yeah.
So let's keep it fluid.
Yeah.
But some sellers will be like, oh yeah, I think we get $1 million for it. All right. And then the market slows down and you're really only gonna get 900, 950. Now you're gonna be upset.
Yeah. What do you think about actually the listing price? So like, I think everyone was surprised by how hot the market was.
Yeah.
In the beginning of this year, right? So listing agents were sitting down with sellers saying, hey, I think we should price it here. Everyone was agreeing. And then the market was just pushing it much higher. That seemed to be a good thing for sellers, though, to create those bidding wars, to get more people in. It seemed to work out well. Now it seems to me like sellers are more pricing it where they want it to end up at, as opposed to down here to get things started and move it higher. Which way is kind of the better way to go, or maybe a mixture of the two?
So you never want to price it where you want it to end up at.
Okay.
Right? The reason being is, if you're selling a house on Main Street and I'm selling a house on Main Street, and you put your house at 850 because that's where you want to sell it at, and I price mine at 775, where's all the attention going to go?
Yeah, it's not coming to mine.
It's coming to mine.
Yep.
So whose house is going to sell first?
100% yours is.
Exactly. And what's it going to sell at?
Probably more than mine.
Probably more, because I'm going to get so much action on it. There's going to be so many people looking at it that it'll drive the price up on its own.
I'll be the backup.
You'll be the backup
for those buyers.
Yeah, the backup.
They will go to that one first.
Exactly.
And if that doesn't work out, then they'll trickle to me.
So when you're pricing your home at where you want it to end up, or at the high point of the market, you're actually selling your neighbor's house for them. You're helping me sell the house faster.
Yeah.
Right? Down the street. So I like it when people do that because it helps me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's bad for the sellers and agents that don't understand the market like that and really don't sell enough property to understand how to price properly. They're hurting their sellers by doing it that way.
Yeah, well, I think it's understandable, you know, why they may be doing that, because they see this trajectory and they say, well, if this continues, then we can probably get this much for your place. But that's kind of a big guess, right? And
yeah, definitely.
And if the seller does end up being overpriced, especially to the competition.
Right.
But let's say there's no competition, just overpriced to the market.
Okay.
What kind of damage does that do to a final sale price for a seller in this?
Well, it crushes it, because what happens is people start looking at the house that weren't in the market when it was first on the market, and they see that it's been on the market for us right now 3 weeks, right? If it's been on the market 3 weeks, people wonder what's wrong with this house. Why is it not sold? What's happened, right? There must be something wrong with it. I don't want to look at it. That's the mentality of the buyer. So what you really want to do is you want to price accordingly to drive that frenzy, right? Make them go. It's like, sharks smell blood in the water. What happens? They all come and rush to it. That's what you have to do in your listings, So, and how it helps buyers when you do it that way is they start trying to get in at the house at the low price point, and if you marketed it properly, you should have a bunch of offers on those homes. Well, what happens is the neighbors see that this house just sold, and then they all want to sell.
Right.
So next thing you know, you have this house that you're selling and 2 or 3 other neighbors that are like, you know what, I'm interested in selling too. And then the buyers that we have, we're able to get those deals done off market for them without a bidding war. We get them, the sellers, the market value of their home, which the neighbor just sold for, without having to go through all the stress and all the drama of having people come to the house.
Yeah, let's talk about one more big topic I think here, especially for California. Relocation buyers.
Yeah.
Relocation sellers.
Okay.
A lot of times they're sellers and buyers. But this, to me, seems like probably the best opportunity that I've ever seen for someone to sell. If you're going to exit the state of California, if you're trying to get out of Dodge, if you're trying to go to, a lot of people are going to Nevada. A lot of people are going to Utah, Idaho. Tennessee seems to be a big one these days.
Yeah.
That's Arizona is another big one. People are getting out of Dodge. This kind of seems like the perfect time to cash in your chips. Would you say so?
100%. We've never seen equity like we've seen before. And year over year, we're gaining 20% in equity. The thing is, when are we going to slow down and grow in equity?
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody wants to wait until you hit the peak, but we never know when that peak is going to be. And if you miss that peak by just a little bit, it's a sheer drop off.
Yeah.
Right? So like right now we're seeing a shift in the market. People aren't seeing it, but we're seeing it. So we've already hit the peak, and now we're starting to not maybe go down, but plateau.
Yeah.
Right? So plateauing means we're staying with the same price point. We're still selling homes at the same prices. We're just not getting them to sell within 2 days. It's taking us 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Not with 2 days with 30 offers. It's,
right. We're getting 5 offers in 2 days, right? Instead of 40 offers, 80 offers in 2 days. So it is easier for the buyer to get in because all the people that have gotten fatigued have now jumped out the market. Now, as you're saying, selling, to relocate, take your money and go. Like you can get a mansion in Arizona for $800,000.
oh, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're selling your $800,000 million home in San Diego and you have $400,000 or $500,000 in profit, you can totally put half down on a home or even buy a home cash. That's a nice house.
Yeah.
And the taxes are different. I mean, everything. So now your cost of living has dropped by half, and you've basically bought a house for free.
I'm going to send you one warning, though. If you leave San Diego, you're going to want to come back at some point. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you. Just know that you will at one point go, damn. But you will have a paid-for house in Arizona that you're living in. So if you want the easy
Arizona,
street,
Texas
Texas is another big one.
Yep.
Yep. You can go buy a house for $300,000 or $400,000. Just take your equity. And the other thing we should mention too, when you're selling, we're not CPAs, consult your CPA, but tax-free profit up to $500,000 if for a married couple, $250,000 for an individual, right? And you can also write against that your cost of sale, improvements you made on the home.
Right.
So you have some ways to really maximize that $500K.
100%. Using that capital gains, at least you've been in the house 2 of the last 5 years. You get that $500,000 waiver for married couples or partnerships.
You make a good point too. It only has to be 2 out of the last 5. So maybe you have a rental, but you used to live in it. There's another opportunity to sell, cash out, take that money tax-free.
Or there's a 1031 exchange that they can do too.
Correct.
And there's the reverse 1031 exchange and the regular. So that's a topic for another day. But yeah, bailing out of state right now, I mean, there's a mass exodus out of California. Yeah. We're seeing more and more and more of our sellers going, hey, I'm leaving. I want to go to Montana. I want to go to, actually have a client that lives in Marietta that's like, I want to go to Montana. I'm like, okay, all right.
It's real quiet.
Let's help you get there.
Yeah.
You can't have the kind of land that you can have out there that you can have here.
Yeah.
Right? So you'll have way more there. What you will miss, though, is the tacos.
That's true. Yeah, you'll miss the food for sure.
Yeah, and the beaches.
You better be a good cook if you move to Montana. Well, I am looking to buy some land out near Yellowstone.
Why?
It's the best land in the country, in my opinion, just as far as it's untouched, beautiful, gorgeous views. 30 or 40 acres for $100,000.
Right, you plan on building a house on it or just going to visit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll set up as a camping site, Airbnb it to start, but yeah, eventually build a cabin.
Yeah, I don't want
out
to
there.
live nowhere near Yellowstone.
Really?
Uh-uh.
Why not?
It's the biggest volcano in the world, man. When that thing goes off. when that thing goes off, bro. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. What a perfect
Like, we're going to
segue.
have problems in San Diego if that thing goes off. Could you imagine if you right next door? No, that's a hard stop for me.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
And that is what we call keeping it real in real estate. Jay Lee, thank you so much for your time,
Thanks, brother.
Great to see you.
You too.
Take care.
All right.